Gam Ganapadaye Namaha. Om Gum Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Sam Sarasvati Namaha. Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute.
Miss Chandi Gai, Hariyo, and welcome to yet another episode of podcast Sechima International Foundation. As we approach this year's Navaratri from 22nd September to the 2nd of October 2025, this podcast series we bring in front of you a special podcast series of Navaratri and the worship of Jagadambika. So, what is Navaratri? Navaratri is actually 9 nights that we worship Jagadambika in 9 different forms. And actually, what is Navaratri? Navaratri is, Shastra says, Rati iti Ratri, which means one which protects us is Ratri. That is contradicting, right? How is a Ratri be protective? And what is the significance of this Navaratri? So, we often have a lot of questions about Navaratri and the worship of Navaratri and who is being worshipped in Navaratri. So we have our Puja Swami Sharadananda with us to introduce us about the Navaratri and the deeper significance of the Navaratri. So Swamiji is a rare voice in Advaita Vedanta, Tantra Shastra, Puja and allied Shastras. So Swamiji is Swamiji is Acharya of the second Vedanta Sadhaka course at Chinmaya International Foundation. So we welcome Swamiji to this episode of podcast. Welcome Swamiji.
Hare Om, Hare.
To begin with, Swamiji, what exactly is Navaratri? And what is the significance of Navaratri in this 9 days?
Utsava Priyahi Lokaha. People like to have different types of Utsava, different festivals.
Okay.
In our Sanatana Dharma, the festivals plays a very important role. So there are different types of festivals. We have Shivaratri, we have Deepavali, we have Ram Navami, Krishna Jayanti, and of course, Navaratri. Most of the other festivals are only for a day or 2 or 3. But Navaratri is a festival where we actually celebrate 9 days. So what is Navaratri? The word meaning of Navaratri is 9 nights. So Navaratri is a joyous occasion where we worship Jagadamba in 9 forms, or we rededicate ourselves to the divine energy within us and which actually protects this entire universe. So Navaratri is that connecting link between us and the divine. So that's the Navaratri. Navaratri, the word meaning is 9 nights, but those are the 9 days and nights where we worship Jagadamba as the universal energy within and without.
So Swamiji said we are worshipping Jagadambika in 9 forms. Swamiji, what are the 9 forms and how will we worship Jagadambika in these 9 forms?
So in Indian culture, in our Bharatiya Samskriti, the religion and life goes hand in hand. It is not very different. The religion is something else and the life is something. It's not like that. So in our tradition, the religion and life goes together, walks together. So actually the 9 days of Navaratri is dedicated for 9 forms of Durga. We worship Jagadambika in 9 forms. And if you really look at that, that way of worship of Jagadamba, actually we are worshipping womanhood, Stritva. Okay, the Stritva is worshipped in those 9 days, and the 9 days, 9 Durgas are actually the 9 states of womanhood. So actually this entire worship of Jagadamba is a worship of womanhood. It's a worship of the entire Prakriti, because Prakriti is called as Stri. So there are each day from starting onwards, we worship Jagadamba with different forms, different concepts. First day, we worship Jagadamba as Pradamam Shailaputri. The first day we worship her as the daughter of Himalaya, like a small girl, 5 or 6 years old, and very joyous, and then playing, and then in that mood, she's very Leela Swarupini. So we worship her as a daughter of Shaila, daughter of Himalaya, Haimavati, Parvati. So it's like if you see a woman's life also, the first spirit, of course, is like a small girl who is playing, and then it's a daughter of, the father and mother. So that is the first worship, the first form of womanhood and the first form of the divine energy as Shailaputri. Second day, we worship her as Brahmacharini. So Brahmacharini means where we worship her as a student, like in a girl's life also, adolescent period where she's going to the school and studying, and then her life is dedicated for studies and understanding and comprehension. So in Jagadamba's worship also, the Didiya Dina, the second day, Jagadamba is worshipped as Brahmacharini. So in first day, the quality of Jagadamba is Balya, like very, what's purity. And second day, the quality of Jagadamba is as Adhyayana. So we worship that concept of study on the second ring. So as Brahmacharini, we worship her. And third day, we worship her as Chandraghanda. Chandraghanda means one who has crescent moon on her head. So from where is crescent moon coming? The crescent moon is actually coming from Shiva. So the third day is the day of marriage, where she's married to Bhagavan. So it's believed that Shiva gave his half body itself to Jagadamba. So that's why that Chandrakala is coming, representing the Shri Parameshwara. Now on the third day, she actually became one with Shiva. So she's known as Shiva. She's known as the Parameshwari. She's the Maharatni of this entire universe. So the third day, the aspect is Saundarya. She's worshipped as the Saundarya, and Bhagavati is the embodiment of beauty on that day. And so the first day, she gives us purity of heart. Second day, she gives us jnanam, shastra jnana. Third day, she gives us the inner eye to enjoy and see the beauty of the universe. So in a woman's life also, the third stage is the married life. And then comes the fourth day. It's known as Kushma Anda. Kushma Anda means means the entire universe is in her womb. She is worshipped as a pregnant woman, where the entire universe is in her womb, and she's in a different mood where she is that Matrubhava is slowly rising in her. So it's a very divine form of Kushmanda is the fourth day. So now in Kushmanda, what do we gain? Kushmanda is that ability of Dhruti to bear, the pain, and life is like that. Life is not only good and always pleasant. There will be different things. Until and unless we can bear it, until and unless we can go through the difficulties, no victory is possible. So that tidiksha, that sahanam, that is that is Jagadamba's gift to us on that day. Next day, of course, so like that, a woman's life also, it's the pregnant ladies that period life. Then comes Bhagavati says with Skanda Mata, with Skanda, with Bhagavan Kartikeya. She's the mother of Kartikeya, and where she's so resplendent. She's actually the fifth day. The fifth day is considered as the Lalita Panchami. Among all the Navaratri, the Panchami is considered as the most joyous day, filled with that Matrutva. Mother is in that Sri Mata. That Matrutva is manifested there, and Amma Jagadamba is in a very, very pleasant, very loving form along with Skanda. So like in a woman's day also, life also, after pregnanthood, and there is, she's a mother. And that a woman's life becomes so complete in that, through that motherhood. And that is the most, one of the most blessed and pleasant day of the entire Navaratri. So the fifth day, that is known as Lalita Panchami, is worshipped, Jagadamba is worshipped as Skanda Mata, which gives us the power of Skanda. Skanda means, Skandayati is Skanda, means the ability to break, the ability to overcome. So the sixth day is Titiksha, the power to Dhriti, and a fourth day, fifth day is that ability to overcome anything in this world through love. Not only by, of course, strength should be there, but that strength should be backed up with understanding and love. That is the message of the fifth day of Jagadamba's as she's worshipped as Skanda Mata. Then comes next day is Katyayani. Katyayani, there are different meanings for Katyayani. The spiritual meaning of Katyayani is Katyam means karma samoham. Dhyati the Katyayani. One who breaks, one who destroys the karma samoha. So that ability to go beyond the karma. That is the form of Katyayani. So she is worshipped as a 35, 40-year-old lady, where she is now, is not a girl anymore, she's a complete woman, where that Gambhirya comes to her, that strength comes to her, and she is the most powerful Jagadamba, as known as Katyayani. Then comes the seventh day, where we worship her as Sakshal. Now comes the day of what we call menopause. In a lady's life, they say that it's a very difficult time where, she is from that very, very severe, very powerful, but at the same time very painful stage known as menopause. That is represented as Kalaratri. The terrible night, Kalaratri, the terrible night means a terrible form of Jagadamba, where she is ready to destroy all negativities. See, that is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. In one way, she is so pleasant. The other face is also very terrible, because that's how the world is. And all the negativities of our heart, once we come to that, going beyond the karma, now we have to face our vasanas. We have to face our karma bandha. So, with the blessing of the Jagadamba, we break, we destroy the karma bandha, and then we go beyond. So, to say, it is, you need a great tapas for that. Those days of tapas, severe tapas, invoking all the powerful energies in us, in the universe, that is known as Kalaratri. After that time is over, then Bhagavati is Mahagauri iti Jashtamam. Like that menopause is over, a woman from a mother's stage, she enters to a grandmother's stage. There is no more, when she entered to that stage, that then there is no more you or me or my children, his children. She starts to get connected with the entire universe. Everybody calls her mother, not only her own children, but everybody calls her mother like that. That is Mahagauri. Gauri means one who's shining. Shining with the wisdom of life. Shining with the beauty of understanding, with connection. She's getting connected with the entire universe. She starts to feel that she's the mother of the universe. And then that connection, that compassion, that manifests, oozes from her. That is known as the 8th day of Mahagauri. Then comes the last day, where known as Siddhida. So last stage of Jagadamba's 9th Navami day, we worship her as Siddhida, the one who gives Siddhi. Siddhida, Siddhidatri, one who gives Siddhi. What is a Siddhi? So Siddhi means, there are different meanings. Of course, Siddhi means Anima, Lakima, all that supernatural powers. But the real Siddhi is understanding one's own true self. Who am I? What is my true nature? So a person go through this purity from the first day, slowly, when that person, practices these great values of life, this is the day he's blessed with that great realization of his own true nature. That's why that day is known as the Siddhidatri. When that Siddhidatri is done, next day is Vijayadashami. Means your life is becoming Vijaya, a great success. Your life becomes a great blessing for yourself and to this entire universe. So that is the beauty, that's the symbolism behind the entire Navaratri. So Jagadamba is worshipped in 9 forms as a Jiva's Gati, from a Shishu to that realized. So that's the beauty of this Navaratri.
This also shows the transition of a womanhood from a childhood to a complete woman and then realization.
Yes, because so Jagadamba, or the woman represents the Prakriti. How the Prakriti is not only the outer Prakriti. So in all of us, there is Prakriti. In all of us, there is womanhood also. So that, when you study the, about the genes, etc., also say that there's X and Y. So X is common. Whether it's a man or a woman, X is common. So in all of us, that Shakti is there. So Prakriti, so your Prakriti, my Prakriti, that Prakriti is slowly starting to evolve and then attain that supreme state. That's the beauty of it.
Swami, we often, so this is, in this Navaratri, we often hear there are 4 Navaratris in a year. So what are the 4 Navaratris, Swami? And all these 4 Navaratris, are we worshipping the same 9 forms of Devi?
Actually, there are, for the common man, there are only 2 Navaratris. And it's known as Vasanta Navaratri, which is, that's also in some part of India, it's not that much importance. Vasanta Navaratri happens in Chaitra Masa, where this Vasanta Rutu, and the most famous one is Sharad Navaratri, which happens in the autumn month. Now, these are the actually 2 Navaratris. Okay, in that also only Sharad Navaratri is considered as the Navaratri, Jagadamba's Navaratri. But in the systems of Sri Vidya Upasana, etc., only they worship this 4 Navaratri. So these 2 Vasanta Navaratri, and this is famous, everybody knows, but most of the people worship Vasanta Navaratri as Sri Rama's worship. Or than Devi, people worship Ramanavami, so that they chant Ramayanam and all that. But in Sri Vidya Upasana, these 4 Navaratris are dedicated for 4 Devatas. Vasanta Navaratri is dedicated to Nilidambika, Jagadamba Rajarajeshwari. And then there is a Navaratri comes in the rainy season, where in that rainy season, Jagadamba is worshipped as Varahi, the commander-in-chief of Jagadamba. And then comes the Sharad Navaratri, where Durga Parameshwari, Chandiga Parameshwari is worshipped. And then comes the, in winter, in Magha Masa, there is Navaratri comes, where Shri Jagadamba is worshipped as Rajamatangi, Shyama, who is the Mantrini. So the other 2 are known as Guda Navaratri. Generally, people are not aware of it. And most of the time, until and unless we are initiated into that sadhanas, they don't even know that such Navaratris exist. But the other Navaratris are basically for the 2 Navaratris are Guda Navaratri, which are only the initiated worshippers only worship those 2. In one has Varahi and Rajamatangi. But that is known as Gudamana. But this one, in the Vasanta Navaratri is of course very famous. And some people actually worship her Jagadamba as Rajarajeshwari, Dambika. And this is actually mainly this Navaratri, which is more famous, and all people worship Jagadamba during this. This is known as Sharadiya Navaratri, where Durga Parameshwari, Chandiga Parameshwari is worshipped. She is the Adhisthana Devata.
So all Navaratris, all the 4 Navaratris, out of this, which we usually worship, this one Sharadiya Navaratri. So how will we worship Devi in this Navaratri, Swamiji?
So as I was telling, see, there are different ways to worship her. Okay. So, Kayikam, Vachikam, Manasikam. So, all the worship can be divided into 3 levels: physical worship, verbal worship, and mental worship. So, this, although I said that there are 9 forms of Jagadamba, these are also divided into 333, like Saraswati, Lakshmi, Durga. Okay. So, in India, in different parts, the importance of these 3 are little different. Like most of the places in like North India, etc., first 3 days are dedicated to Saraswati. The 4th, 5th, and 6th is dedicated to Lakshmi. 7, 8, 9 is dedicated to Durga Parameswari. That's how most of there's Durga Puja is done. But in Kerala, etc., the first 3 days are worshipped as Durga, second 3 as Lakshmi, last 3 as Saraswati. That's why in Kerala, Saraswati Puja is performed on that Navaratri. I mean, that last days. So, these are all according to how you see. But in Kerala's system, there's actually a backup of the Chandi. Chandi means the Durga Saptasari also. Because in Durga Saptasari, first 3 days are, the first Charita is dedicated to Kalika. Second day is dedicated to Mahalakshmi. Second Charita is dedicated to Mahalakshmi. Third Charita is dedicated to Saraswati. So I think the Kerala is following that tradition of Durga Saptasati as Kali, Lakshmi, and Saraswati of the Durga Saptasati. Maybe that is 5. That's why Kerala is doing that. But in other parts, most part of India, it is worshipped the other way: Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Durga. So that is the thing.
So, since Swamiji have mentioned this Durga Saptati, how is Durga Saptati significant in this Navaratri, Swamiji?
So, there are 3 main forms of Jagadamba: Kalika, and Lakshmi, and Saraswati. Okay. So, the entire Durga Saptati, there are 13 chapters, are divided into 3 Charita: Pradama Charita, Madhyama Charita, and Uttara Charita. Pradama Charita, there's only 1 chapter. Madhyama Charita is 2, 3, 4, and the rest is known as Uttara Charita. So, in Pradama Charita, Jagadamba is worshipped as Bhadrakali, second Charita as Mahalakshmi, third Charita as Sri Mahasaraswati. But this Mahasaraswati and Mahalakshmi is not same what we worship generally. So, in Pradama Charita, what happens is, see, if you want to come out of if you want to really evolve in your life, first you have to break Brahma Grandhi. What is Brahma Grandhi? Our Raga Dvesha, likes and dislikes. So, the Bhadrakali, so in that Pradama Charita, Bhadrakali is the Adhisthana Devata. With the blessing of Bhadrakali, Mahavishnu breaks Madhu and Kaidava, who represent Raga Dvesha. So, that's the Pradama Charitam. And second Charita, Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi is not the Mahavishnu's Patni. Their Mahalakshmi is actually Mahishasura Mardini.
Oh.
The Charita's Mahalakshmi is not Vishnu Patni. Okay. This is Mahishasura Mardini. Okay. So that's the story there. So Mahishasura represents our all Vikshepa. The first Charita, Ragadvesha, Madhukaidava represents our Mala, impurities. And Mahishasura represents our Vikshepa. So once Jagadamba kills the Mahishasura, who takes different forms, our mind is also, there's a lot of distractions.
Right.
And then comes the last and final war of with Shumbha and Nishubha. So Shumbha and Nishubha represents our Ahankara and Mamakara, I-ness and minus. That is the strongest one. So first is known as Brahma Grandhi, Vishnu Grandhi, and Rudra Grandhi. Rudra Grandhi means the note of Rudra, which is Ahankara, Mamakara. So that is the final war. So that's why the entire worship of Jagadamba is its philosophical outlook is actually can be seen in Chandika. Means Durga Saptasati or Devi Mahatmyam. That's why Navaratri is one of the main upasana is
Devi
Mahatmya Parayana. Because Devi Mahatmya Parayana, sometimes people just only read and there are so much of fight and then so much of stuti. But beyond that, Devi Mahatmya shows the path of a pilgrim. From Mala, Vikshepa, Avarananasa. Destruction of impurities, destruction of distractions, and destruction of ignorance about the self. That's why Saraswati. See,
the last
is Saraswati because Ajnana Nashanam.
Right.
What is Ajnana? This body is me. That is ajnana. So that is the way. So in these 9 days, you are asking so that what should we do? So what we should do is, we should do tapas. What is tapas? Tapas is of three kinds: pachika tapas, sharirika tapas, pachika tapas, and manasika tapas. With this body, of course, we fast. We do upavasa. But that upavasa should not become a block for our sadhana. That upavasa should give us a lot of time to meditate upon Jagadamba, to do her puja, etc. Sometimes people do so much of upavasa they cannot even say it. That is not the purpose. The purpose of upavasa is to upavasati, to sit near, to be with the Jagadamba. So in Sharirikam, that one is upavasa. Second is brahmacharya. So that these days we keep celibacy as a great Varada. Third is puja adhika. We do japa, puja, whatever, in which according to our ability we worship Jagadamba. So that is known as kayika tapas. Then comes vachika tapas. What is vachika tapas? Doing the japa of Jagadamba's nama. Okay, so if we are initiated into mantra, etc., we should chant that Devi's mantras, etc., and also chant the Kavacham, chant the Durga Saptasati, Devi's Tutis, Sahasranama, Lilita Sahas. These are all Vachika tapas. And the most important thing is Manasika tapas, meditation on Jagadamba, trying to connect with the Supreme. Jagadamba, to meditate upon her, to do mananam about Devi Tattva, and then listen to her Tattva, and then her stories and Tattva, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Devi, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So these 9 days, Pachika, Kayika, and Manasika tapas we should do, so that it will cleanse our body, it will cleanse our mind, will bring so much of positive energy to us. Slowly, we will be able to come out of, all kinds of difficulties, whether it is of this world or of the other worlds. And then slowly that Atma Bhava develops, and then which helps us to attain the Supreme Godhead. So that is the sadhana. Whatever we are doing it for that.
Often people who are worshipping Navaratri, so they often do just a ritualistic practice. There is much beyond that. So this is very closely connected with Vedantic traditions also. It's whatever Vedanta says, we're in another sense practicing it through the form of Navaratri, right? So,
yes. So, see, Vedanta is the philosophy, right, and Tantra is the action. So, sometimes some people think that, philosophy and Tantra are very different. It's not so. So, Tantra and philosophy, the Darshanam and Tantram, are actually two sides of the same coin. So, Vedanta is the philosophy and Tantra is the applications. The meaning of Tantra is that, Dhanutani Vikarane, to expand, to put in practice. That's the meaning. That's why they say, Urja Tantra. The physics is known as Urja Tantra. The chemistry is known as Rasa Tantra. The application of the knowledge. The Tantra, that's the meaning.
Right.
So there is Tantra, Mantra, and Yantra. So whatever is the Vedanta is trying to tell us, that oneness with the Supreme, so that is to be practiced through different rituals and different spiritual practices, using mantra and using the tantra, using the yantras, different forms. So Jagadamba's form is also a yantra, through which we connected with the Supreme.
Right. So connected to the Navaratri worship, so we usually worship Navakanyas and Navasumangalis as Devi herself. So what is that practice and how is it signifies the worship of Devi?
Yeah. See, Sri Ramakrishna says that Devi is not Mrinmayi, Devi is Chinmayi. Okay, so of course we keep Jagadamba's form and then we worship her in an idol or in a kalasa or sometimes as a deepa. We do that, so that's very good. Sometimes we forget one thing, that the greatest temple of God is Manushya. Man, idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhidiyade. There is no other, there is not a greater altar than human beings. So, our ancestors wanted to bring this applied portion of this philosophy. So if you are worshipping Devi's form, see, the girls, they are the manifestation of Jagadamba. See, think about, we talk about Nastri, Swadandram, Marhadi and all those things, but how much deep was our connection with womanhood? It's a very interesting thing. Once somebody asked Swami Vivekananda, what is the difference between West and East? West and India. So Swamiji jokingly said, in India, your wife is your wife, all others are your mother. In West, your mother is your mother, all are wives. Swamiji was joking, but that is a very, very interesting insight. In India, we worship that Supreme as in the form of Jagadamba, alive in front of us, in this as the Sumangali and also as the Navakanyakas.
So Swamiji, in connection to the Navaratri Upasana, we said now we have Navadurga Puja, and then we have Navakanyaka Puja, and then Navasumangali Puja. So now the most important, the ritual one we often know is the Chandiga Havan. So what is Chandiga Havan and what is the significance in this worship?
Yeah. So as I was telling, Chandiga Parameshwari is the Adhisthana Devata of Sharadiya Navaratri. Okay. So Chandiga Havan is the most powerful Havana to worship Chandiga Parameshwari. So what is Chandiga Havana? The worship of Chandiga Parameshwari. So what we do that, there are lots of Anga, the Angas, etc. Many Devatas has to be worshipped. So Jagadamba should be worshipped as, a small girl again, as the, Chandiga herself. And then we invoke Chandiga into the Havana Vedi, Aganigunda, and then we chant different other mantras also, along with the different Anga Pratyanga mantras, etc. Then we start to worship, do the Ahuti to the fire with each mantra of Durga Saptasati. So we chant mantra of Durga Saptasati, and in many traditions we add Navakshi mantra. Om Aim Harim Klim Chamundaye, we say to that, and then we do Ahuti. So but this is, in each place of India, this is done differently. But how we do is, so in each Adhyaya, there is a Devata. Although Chandiga Parameshwari is the Adhisthana Devata for the entire text, but each Devata, each chapter, there is a Devata. So invoke that Devata, we do the worship of that Devata, and with each mantra, we do the Ahutis to Chandiga Parameshwari. And then in the beginning also Puja, in the end of the Puja, and in each chapter there is Purnahuti also. So that's how we do the Chandiga. And like that, all the 13 chapters we complete, and there is Mahapurnahuti, and then Bali Pradhanam, and all that is there. So it's one of the most powerful, Havana karma which a sadhaka can perform. Because as I was telling, the Sharirika tapas is there, Vachika tapas is there, Manasika tapas is there. When all these three are joined together, that's also when fire is there, the power of the Agni is, immeasurable. So it gives us so much of swatandriya, inner swatandriya, that our mind becomes so much filled with that connection, and then we help us to come out of all negativities and then get connected with the Jagadamba. So that's why Chandiga Homa is one of the most important ritual to be performed on the Navaratri day.
So we said, so Devi Mahatmyam, Durga Saptasi is mantra. So usually the Devi Durga Saptasati is a stotra form, right? So how is it considered as mantras?
The meaning of mantra is manana trayate iti mantraha. So sometimes people think the mantra means Om Namah Shivaya, like the small words, but it's not so. All the Vedic slokas are known as mantra. You should not say Vedika sloka. You should say Vedika mantra, because each of those Vedika mantras has so much of potency in it. So that's the difference between the sloka and mantra. What is the difference? In sloka, it can be, so many things can be, there's a Nadaga also can be in sloka. But that where there is the divine potency is there, it may look like a sloka, but that is actually the mantras. So there are different paddhatis. Where in each and every shloka of Durga Saptashri, there is a Devada. And there is Bija Mantra. But generally we don't go to do that much of detail. So that's the power of Durga Saptashri. Although it's part of Markandeya Purana, actually part of Markandeya Purana, but it has so much of power. They say that other than one mantra, everywhere this Tara is there. Rata, Tara, that two letters always will be there. Means that which Tarayati di Tara, that which protects us. So that's such powerful is the Durga Saptashri. Each line is divine potential is there in each and every line, in each and every verse. That's why we say Durga Saptashri mantra. We don't say Durga Saptashri shloka because it is so potent.
And Swami had mentioned about the Navakshi mantra also. So what exactly is Navakshi? And then, so the worship of Navaratri is done with Navakshi.
Yeah. So Navakshi is actually a very divine mantra. Om Aim Harim Klim Chamundaya which. So actually Om, if you remove, then Aim Harim Klim Chamundaya which. So there are 9 letters in that. That's why it's known as Navakshi. But that 9 letters actually itself is a great shastra. So what is Aim, what is Hrim, what is Klim? So Chamunda, Yai, Viche, these are all, there's a inner, Gupta Artha for all that. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Anugraha, Tidobhava. So the entire Tantrika Jnana, in the Shakta Jnana is there in this mantra. So that is the beauty of this mantra. That is the power of this mantra, that it is not just some words, but it is the entire philosophical formula. Is that Navakshi is a formula which is filled with divine energy and divine wisdom. So that's why Navakshi is considered as Mantra Raja. That's the king of the mantras. And emperor of mantra is Panchadashi. And king of the mantra is Mantra Raja.
This is so beautiful, Swamiji. So Navaratri is actually a philosophy and a practice. So it really elevates us to the different realm of experience. It is so amazing to listen to this. So in different regions, they worship Navaratri in different ways. So in Tamil tradition, they do Kolu, and this in North Indian tradition, they do Durga Puja. So how is it all connected, Swamiji? And how is this worship happens in different worlds?
Yeah. See, the beauty of Indian culture is that Nanatve Ekatva. So Upanishad Veda itself says Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahudavadan. That's the beauty of Indian vision, that the truth can be worshipped in different ways. There's no insistence that you have to worship this way alone. The moment that kind of thing comes, then the entire beauty goes. So in each land of Bharatavarsha, they develop their own way of worship of Jagadamba. So in some place, like as you said, Kulu, in the Kulu also they worship Mother only. Because in the Kulu, what is happening is, if you see the Kulu, there's actually a great science. It starts from so the animals and birds and then human beings and devatas and Paramatma. So it's actually the pyramid of creation. So Jagadamba is the pyramid of creation. She herself is and not only Kulu, then there's Puja also, there is Japa also. And like in Karnataka, in the Andhra and in South, in Kerala, we have this kind of puja. And in North India, of course, in Bengal and all that places, Durga Puja on Shashti onwards, they start the pujas. And then in Gujarat, etc., they keep a gada. That lamp is kept, and then they do the Garbha. Actually, it's a very interesting thing. Garbha is that which done by Gopikas. Gopikas in Vrindavan, they wanted Shri Bhagavan to be their husband, means their Natha. So they worshipped Jagadamba Katyayini. Okay, Katyayini Mahamaye Sarva Yoginyadhishwari Nanda Gopa Sudam Devi Patim Me Kuru Te Namaha. This is from Bhagavata. So chanting days, every day they will worship Katyayini. They will, because they are Gopikas, they will sing and then dance around Jagadamba all night. They will do this. That was their worship. They do not know much mantra, kandra, anything. But so with singing and dancing, they used to know all 9 nights. Navaratri, they used to worship Katyayini. And with her blessings, there's known as Baranam. They accepted Bhagavan as their Natha. Because of that, Bhagavan blessed them with Aikya. So that Varana is that which led to, Ramanam. Varana, Anavarana, Ramanam. So in many places of India, this Garba, etc. is not just some dance. That is the dance where Gopikas perform to get Krishna. That's why in Gujarat, etc., where there's a lot of Krishna Bhakti is there. Along with that, Devi Bhakti comes because Devi is the path to Krishna.
That is something very new.
Yes. So that's the beauty of India. Wherever, in which of different places, different ways of worship.
Right.
But everything is worshipping that same supreme consciousness.
So in Kerala, I think the Keralites worship only the last 3 days of Navaratri.
That is in the temples and all that, Ashtami, Navami, Dasami. But the worship is Navaratri.
All 9.
In temples, etc., there is special pujas, etc. are there. But common people, they worship like in, as I said, meaning like in Bengal, only Shashti they start. So in Kerala, Ashtami evening onwards is the worship of Saraswati. That's why each place has their own way of worship, but that's how it is. Yeah.
And also in Kerala, we have something called Ayudha Puja. So we keep all our books and Ayudhas for worship.
Yeah. And so that is there in other places also. The Ayudha Puja is there in Bengal also in many places. Because whatever we are using, we offer to Jagadamba, and with her blessing that our become purified, so that our not only our knowledge, we keep pustaka, ayudha, so that everything is purified and our mind is purified and then energized. So that's why 3 days we don't use any ayudha, we don't use any reading, etc. That is dedicated to her, so that it's purified and energized. So that's why we have ayudha puja, pustaka puja, etc.
Our Bharatiya tradition is so rich now. So we worship whatever we use also.
Yes, because for us, everything is divine. See, Satcha Techa Bhavat. Punisha says, Satcha Techa Abhavat. Means, what is the life is also divine, matter is also divine. There is nothing else in this. Sarvam Galyadam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. So that bhava should come to us, that everything is Brahman. So that's why we have this kind of different kinds of worship, where it connects us to the divine energy.
We have started with the Navaratri worship, and then we are now concluding with the Atmanubhuti, the end result of everything. So Swamiji, for a sadhaka to start with the Navaratri worship, how can a sadhaka start the journey of Navaratri or the Devi of Jagadambiga?
See, as I said, many people may not know how to do the puja. So one thing what they can do is upavas. Upavas is not only, as I was telling, nowadays there are people who will not even drink water. Like our Modiji, etc., will not eat only water. He takes nothing else. Even he goes to White House also. So that is one type. There are some other people who eats whatever is, we call it, which is allowed. Which is allowed for there are food. Some people take that. Some people take only fruits or milks. So in whichever way, if we can take up any kind of upavasa, that will be a very healthy and a good way of worshipping her. Okay? One thing. Second is, do her nama. See, I do not know what nama. Om Durgaye Namaha. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Any nama. Om Mahakalikaye Namaha. Om Mahasaraswati Namaha. Any nama. And there is Durga Chalisa. How we have Hanuman Chalisa, like the Durga Chalisa. Some japa. So one is physically, if you can do a puja, okay. If you cannot do, just keep a lamp. Khanda Deepa. Keep a lamp in your house, purify the place, keep a lamp, and feel that lamp is Jagadamba, and try to keep that lamp for 9 days. That's also a great sadhana. Now, if you know little more, then keep of course Jagadamba and do a puja, small puja, humble puja. But this is Kayika. And Vachikam, do japa. If you know how to read Durga Saptasati, read it. More than that, start to think about Jagadamba. Connect in the mind. Remember about Jagadamba. What is truth? Who is she? What is her truth? Get connected with her. So, even if a person is not very ritualistically trained, these small things. See, Bhagavan says in Gita a very interesting thing. He says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyuparatam asnami prayadatmanam. So Bhagavan doesn't see what kind of puja do you do, what do you do. Whatever we do, let us do it with 100% dedication. With that mental connection, with that feeling, bhava, bhavagrahi janardana. The Lord is only looking your bhava, your connection. So whatever little things we can do in Navaratri, do it with great connection and love and dedication. So that will be a great pujanam, japaha, chindanam. All these things in whichever way we can, the simplest way. That also will be a great result. It will bring great result, not only in in spiritual life, even in the material life also. There is nobody in this world. No, apadi kim karaniyam. Smaret charanayugalam ambikayaha. She's the only one. She's the mother. She's the one who protects us. She's the one who helps us. She's the one who can actually save us from difficulties. And she is the Jagadamba herself. She's the embodiment of power. No, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Surupini. She is the embodiment of Ichha, Jnana and Kriya. So we get connected with her in this Navaratri. Navaratri is one of the best days, filled with so much of energy. We get connected with her in different ways. And then, change our life into a most blessed experience.
So as Swami said, the Jnana and the Bhakti are the not different parts, goes hand in hand always. So that is this worship indicates also. So if you want to delve into the Navaratri Sadhana more, so we have our Shakti Upasana camp at Chinmay International Foundation, which is led by Swamiji. So we have all the 3 pujas, which start with the Ganapati Panchayatana Puja, then morning Saraswati Puja, then we worship Mahalakshmi in the afternoon, then we worship Durga Parameshwari in the evening, and Lalitha Tripurasundari Puja. This is, we have an elaborate 9 days puja with Navakannika Puja, Navasamangali Puja and Chandi Havan at Chinmay International Foundation. I invite all of you to join for the camp and this most sacred sadhana. So Swamiji, thank you so much for shedding the light about Navaratri and spending the time with us. Hari Om Pranams. May Jagadambika guide you always in your life. Thank you so much. Hari Om Pranams.
Om Shri Jagadambikaye Namaha. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om.